Kickstart. Sorry for inconvenience. So we are discussing constitutions, right? So constitution is a fundamental law of the land, right? So it's a mental law of the land. Now when we talk about the Constitution of India, so the Constitution of India was completed on 26th November 1949, and originally the Constitution has 22 parts, 8 schedules, right? But with the subsequent number of amendments made to the constitutions, that was, changes were made to the constitutions. So this 22 parts now become 25 parts of the constitution. Like part 4A added to the constitutions, part 9A related to the municipality, part 4A related to the fundamental duties added to the constitutions. Subsequently, one of the part of the constitution, that is 7th part of the constitution, this was deleted. This was deleted by the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1956. So what was the subject matter of 7th part of the constitution? It was dealing with the division of states. So before the state was reorganized on a basis of language, right? As we have seen that there are 3 committees were set by the government to reorganize the state on a basis of linguistic demand after the commencement of the constitutions, right? The very first committee was Justice Dhar Committee, or appointed by the government to give report on whether to reorganize the states on a basis of administration or on the basis of language. Justice Dhar Committee said that the state should not be organized on the basis of language, rather they should be organized on the basis of administrations, right? Then the second committee was JVP Committee. So the very first committee was Justice Dhar Committee. All these committees are related to state reorganizations. Clear? So first was Justice Dhar Committee. So this committee has suggested that states should be organized on the basis of administrations. Second committee was JVP Committee. JVP Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel and Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. So they are the committee. Again, why? Because there was a demand, huge demand in the southern part of the India that the state should be organized on a basis of language, specifically in the Andhra Pradesh. Right? So just JVP committee came into the role to play, but still the JVP committee has also rejected the ideas of organizing the state on a basis of language, linguistic basis. As soon as the report of the JVP committee published, an intense agitation was started by the name of the leader which has started and fast unto death was Pattabhi. Srimalu, Pattabhi Srimalu. He has taken and fast unto that for the period of 56 days, and he died after 56 days of his this. Right? As soon as he died, the agitation was changed into the violent agitations, and there was a violence disruptions happen into the southern part of India. So after that, the last committee was Fazl Ali Committee. And on the recommendation of the Fazl Ali Committee, the government has come up with the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1956, which is known as an State Reorganization Act 1956, and this become the basis for the organization of a state on a basis of language. So Madras was carved out from the Telugu speaking and given to the Tamil Nadu, being a Tamilian majority over there, right? Then then Bombay was taken from the Gujarat and merged to the Maharashtra. So there was a state was reorganized after this on the basis of language. The recently we have, so originally the constitution have 14 states that was divided into groupings. That groupings given under 7th part of the constitutions, which talks about groupings A, B, C and D. So there are 4 types of states divided into different groups. Group A belongs to the British provinces. Group B belongs to the princely state. Do you understand the difference between the provinces, British province and Indian state? The two term, one is British province and Indian state. What is the difference between the British province and Indian state? Anyone? Have you heard this two term? Okay. Do you know the differences? Rajwada, princely state. What is princely state? Hyderabad. There are around more than 500 princely states were there. 560 or 62, something like. So what is the difference between the princely state and British province? So this British province were under the direct control of British. Directly they are been controlled, managed and everything. Bihar, Central Province, United Province, Madras, Bombay, Calcutta. So these are the British province. They are been directly under the control of Britishers. So Britishers were directly responsible for the administrations of these states. So they came to be known as a British province. So all the British provinces were kept in under one group. Next is Indian states, that is also known as a princely state. Have you heard the term paramountcy? Paramountcy. What is paramountcy? What is doctrine of paramountcy? These are the historical term. You will be studied in modern India. The arrangement made by the Britishers with the native rulers. So they will not take over their states. So what they will do? They will make an arrangement कि आप अपना states को you rule yourself. We will not interfere. But certain areas we will keep under our in our capacity, like foreign relations. You cannot make relations with your neighboring. We will give you protections. मतलब neighboring state will not going to attack you. ऐसा होगा तो we will give you the protection. This is our guarantee. Second, finance. We will keep the finance. Third, military. We will keep the military. Fourth, communications. So we will keep the communications. Rest is you rule as you want. So these are the Indian states. And arrangements of paramountcy was there. Yeah, are you getting my point? They are being ruled by the native rulers. But there was an arrangement made between the Britishers and native ruler that some of the areas will be kept under the control of Britishers. Then Britishers will not interfere in the ruling. And one of the officers will be of a Britishers will be representing the Britishers in the Indian state present into the court of prince. Yes, are you getting my point? Okay? So that is an Indian state. So they come under the different groups. So similarly, these types arrangements were made during initially in the original constitutions. So this grouping was deleted by the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1956, because of arranging the states on the basis of languages. Yes or no? Clear? So rearrangement was made, and because this become the reasons of deleting one of the part under the constitutions. Am I clear? Okay? So these are the parts. Now if we talk about the schedule, so what do you mean by the schedule? What do you mean by the schedule? So if you see the constitutions, you will find three terms. One is part, article, and then one is schedule. If you generally go through the constitutions. Yes or no? Like I have told you that there are 25 parts, 460, more than 65 articles are there, and 12 schedule. What are the differences between these? Part means what? A segregation has been done. A division has been done. So each of the part will have certain number of articles where nature of all the articles will be similar to that of the part. So an article having a similar nature, context, talking on a similar terms, talking on a similar subject matter will be put under one part. Like part 3rd, fundamental rights. So all the articles related which are providing a rights to the individual, fundamental rights, is been kept under one part. Are you getting my point? Yes. Right. So part is a segregations where and similar nature or similar articles talking on a similar subject matter will be kept under one part. That is a segregations. What are articles? So what is the difference between articles and schedule? So article, we're giving you the informations in a detailed manner. So right. So article talks about the provisions, whereas schedule having an extra information. Extra information of what? Extra informations which is not possible to be given under the article. So schedules were made. For example, part 1 of the constitution talks about what? Part 1st of the constitution talks about what? India and its territory. Okay. So all the articles in part 1, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, is dealing with the subject matter of India and its territory, name of the India, which comes under the Indian territory, what comes under the Union of States, what is the power of Parliament related to the states, admission of states, everything will come under this, right? So this is a detailed provisions given it, but an extra informations related to this is been given in first schedule. So first schedule talks about name of the states, which is a part of the article, which is not possible to give all the detail of the states into the article. So they have made a separate schedule providing the details of the states, like name of the states, area of the states, territorial boundaries of the states, population of the states. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? So schedules are those provisions, or you can say that features, which have an extra informations related to the article or part of the constitutions. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Another example, if you understand, you can for your understanding. Article 246 talks about division of power. But detail of the division of power is given under 7th schedule. And 7th schedule talks about list, union list, state list, concurrent list. So division of power is 246, talks about the what parliament can do, what state can do, but their actual in what subject matter they are been. So it is given an extra detail informations related to subject matter. So schedule is something which is providing you an extra informations which is not feasible or possible to be kept under the articles. Yes or no? Are you getting my point? Any doubt? Clear? Now let's see the schedule. So originally the Constitution of India has 8 schedules: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7 and 8. Right? Originally we have an 8 schedule. What is the subject matter of first schedule? It talks about a name of the territory. Name of territory of India. Second schedule, oath and affirmation. See, the questions were asked from the schedule. That which of this schedule, how many originally constitution have originally its schedule, which was added later, what is the subject matter of the schedule. So we should also have we should know the related to the ideas related to schedule. It's clear? Then third schedule is about salary and allowances. Fourth schedule is about representation of states into the Rajya Sabha. So this is representation of states in Rajya Sabha, Council of State. Fifth schedule is about administration of tribal and scheduled area except 4 states. So fifth and sixth are similar, but the difference is that this fifth talks about rest of the India administration of tribal areas and scheduled areas, whereas the sixth schedule is specifically dedicated only for the 4 states: Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura. Whereas other than these 4 states, the tribal areas or scheduled areas has to be administered that through the 5th schedule. Are you getting my point? So 5th talks about an administration of tribal and scheduled area except 4 states, right? Whereas 6 talks about administration of tribal and scheduled area in 4 states. These 4 states were covered in the 6th schedule: Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura. The questions were always were asked from 5th, 6th, 4th, 10th, 11th schedule in the examination. Is it clear? Any doubt? Any questions? Why the rest has been given? See, the first thing, all these are border area, international border. The first thing. Second, there have been populations having more. All the populations in these are the tribal areas, like Orissa. Do we have a tribal populations? Yes. Can we say the whole state is a tribal area state? No. We have a different populations residing in Orissa also. So Orissa's scheduled areas or tribal areas were to be administered by the 5th schedule. So the area which is under the tribal. Now why it is specifically given administrations of tribal and scheduled area? Just to protect their culture. The tribals have their distinct culture. So that need to be protected to feels to be inclusive. So it is required that for the inclusions and for the protections, it is necessary that their cultures, traditions should be protected, and because of this arrangement has been given. Because during the British era also, the tribals were treated with the different rules and regulations because of their primitive cultures. Yes or no? Clear? ठीक है. Then 7th schedule talks about list. So this is list of 3: union list, state list, and concurrent list. Now what do you mean by the state list? Union list. So the matter which is enumerated, subject which is kept under the union list, comes under the sole control of a parliament to make laws and regulations, like foreign affair, currency, citizenship, military, railways. So these are under the union list. So who is authorized to make rules and regulation related to the? Only the union parliament. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Right? So this comes under the complete control of parliament. State list, where a state subject matter has been kept. Local nature of subject matter has been kept. So who is going to make laws on that respect to? State. So this will be the state legislature. Concurrent is a subject where both have been allowed to make laws. Parliament can also make laws any of the matter mentioned under the concurrent list, and state. So both can make law. Parliament and state legislature can make law on that subject matter, right? In case of clash, if suppose that on a single subject matter both has made the law, so whose law will prevail? Parliament laws will prevail. So in case of clash between the law made by the parliament and state legislature in the concurrent list, so the parliament law will prevail. Yes or no? Any doubt? Clear?
जो यूनियन लिस्ट का मतलब जो स्टेट लिस्ट में होता है वो लोग कंकरेंट लिस्ट में डाल देते हैं
वो that will be done with the amendments that we will discuss. We will also discuss in the federal relations what are the circumstances when the parliament can make laws into the state subject without making changes from the list. So that is different subject matter. That there we will discuss. Till here it is clear, yes or no? Right now we are just currently seeing the schedule. The questions were asked from the schedule. Any doubt? Clear? Now 8th schedule is about official language. How many languages are there? 22. So there are 22 official languages. This question has been asked recently in the last examinations. So which of the languages is added by the amendments? So out of the 22, 14 languages were originally added when the constitution was completed. So how many left? 8. 8 languages were added by the amendments, subsequent amendments. So out of 22, 4 were in the original constitutions and 8 were added by the amendments. What you need to do is just go through all those 8 languages which were added into the 8th schedule through amendments. The questions were asked on this line that which language was added through which of the amendments. The question has been already been asked in this basis. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? So these are the 8 schedule in original constitutions. Now we'll discuss the 4 of the schedule which were added subsequently by the amendments, with the subject matter and also with the date of amendments. So next is 9th schedule. This talks about Land Act, right? This was added by the first Constitutional Amendment Act 1951. This question has also been asked. Under whose prime ministership the 9th schedule was added? So you can answer through this. There is no need to write everything. So who was the prime minister during 9th schedule? Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Very first prime minister, 1951. He was prime minister from 1947 to 1964. 64. He was died in 64. So the period. Some questions can only be answered on a basis of your common sense, logic. Because this is not required ना कि अब आपको prime minister भी बताएं. This is like first prime minister duration is this. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Right? Next is 10th schedule. This was added by, so subject matter of this is anti-defection law. This question has many times been asked. This was added by 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1985. Who was prime minister during this period? Rajiv Gandhi. 1984, Indira Gandhi was assassinated. So he came to the power. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? The next is 11th schedule. It is related to Panchayat by the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. And the last is 12th schedule. This is municipality. This is by the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. Is it clear? जी. एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ, दल बदल कानून 52 मतलब, sorry, I'm not getting your question. I'm not getting the questions.
He's asking of that from direct 52 to why 73.
बहुत सारे हुए उस बीच में, but schedule तो add हुआ इससे. There was a lot of amendment made to the constitution, changes, but we are only dealing with those constitutional amendment act which has made changes or added the scheduled. We are dealing with the schedule. बीच में तो बहुत सारे हैं. That is dealt with a different subject matter. We are only dealing with the scheduled. Which of the amendment has added a schedule to the constitutions? Because today we have a 12th schedule, and we should know which schedule talks about what subject matter and which was added later by which act. So questions were asked directly from this. Either it can be asked from always the question has been asked from the subject matter. Anti-defection law deals in under which? 10th schedule. Anti-defection law added through which of the Constitutional Amendment Act? 52nd. The question has always been asking in the subsequent manner. Yes or no? Is it clear? So you come to know that during this Prime Minister was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. During this Rajiv Gandhi. During this period PV Narasimha Rao. 1991 का आपको LPG पता हो?
Yes.
Liberalizations, globalizations. So this is the period. 1991 का period when we have opened our border for the private investment. So this is the period. Yes or no? So this is just a basic of the constitutions. Any doubt? Clear? Now moving to the types of constitutions. So there are two types of constitutions. One is written constitution and one is unwritten constitutions. Right? Now can you give an example to the written constitutions? Yes. India, USA. Unwritten constitutions, Britain. what do you mean by when we say that it is an unwritten constitutions? Written and unwritten constitutions. Unwritten means plain page. Do you understand this? Unwritten means this is unwritten. So Britain has plain page and they have kept in the office. Unwritten means uncodified. So when we talk about a written and unwritten, so written means properly codified. Unwritten means uncodified. They do unwritten does not mean so they have a plain page and they have framed it and kept it. Unwritten means they have an uncodified, haphazardly written. They have mentioned a topic. We will have a prime minister, but they do not mention the power and everything of the prime minister. They have said we have a bicameral. But what are the power given to that? That is not written. Means they do not have an codifications. A proper codification is not been mentioned into the constitutions, and because of the uncodifications of the constitution, the constitution is known to be an unwritten constitution. Whereas Indian constitution has a proper codifications, properly given every detailed manner of the constitutions. If you have a prime minister, what are its power? How the prime minister will become? When he will be in his office? How he can be an elected or selected or appointed? Are you getting my point? So this is a proper codifications. Yes or no? Am I clear? Right? So written means properly codified and unwritten means properly not codified. So how they are run now? When the constitution is written, properly codified. So whenever you feel any doubt, whenever any branches or any interpretation is required, the Supreme Court visit to the constitutions and go to the provisions. They interpret the provisions. Codification is this. Easily referenced will be given. We can refer to easily to the provisions. This is an advantage, yes or no?
Yes.
Then how the England were referring or doing things? So they run on the traditions and customs. So they're running on their customs, traditions, practices. Do you understand the customs? Do you understand customs? Nahi? You do not have your customs? Custom is what? Chal chalan nahi. Chal chalan is not custom. Custom society have their own rules and regulations. Customs. Har kisi ka customs, like many of you have been customs of taking bath and having dinner or lunch. These are the customs. Means society's rules and regulations. This is custom. Customary law. Traditions of the society. Yes or no? We all have a traditions. Do we all have a traditions? Yes. Right? So that is run on the, so Britain run on the societal norms, on the traditions. They do not have a codification. That's why in the last class I told you how the parliamentary sovereignty they have. The judiciary has no role or no power checking the constitutionality of the law made by the parliament in Britain, if you remember. Why? Because they do not have a codified, proper codifications is not been given. They say the parliament has a power to make changes. Now what extent has not been written. So they may cross the limit also because there is no limit. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Right? So written and unwritten means, unwritten when we talk, it means it does not mean a plain sheet of paper was there, but a codifications, proper codification is not been given. And written means a proper codification. So reference has to be made. You go to the dedicated or to required provisions. Right? Yes or no? Okay. Answer me one question. So this is clear. Yes or no? We come to know that the Britain run on the basis of customs, traditions. So what laws India's follow, or Indian society or Indian people were governed through which laws? Are you getting my question? Do you get the question? Yes or no? We are governed through which laws? Now I will give you the options. These are the options you need to mark your answer. Now you get the questions? Yes or no? Do you get the questions? So which of the law is applicable in India? All of the above. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Anybody else? Only statutory. Okay. C is left. You can choose the option C also. This was asked in examinations, UPSC. This was a question. Exact question. The essence of the question is this. All of the above. So why C? Why not A, B, D? Sorry. Why B, not A, C or D? So we are run with the statutory laws. We do not govern through the constitutions. What you said? B? Answer to this question is D. We govern through all of this. We have a constitutions. We have statutory laws also. Motor Vehicle Act. Many acts are there through which we are been governed. And we are also been governed through the customs, traditions. Every society, every communities have their own customs. G. Constitution of India cover all? Constitution of India covers the statutory laws? No. Does it cover customary law? Any example? That's a fundamental right. Customary law means? No, that's a different thing. That's a freedom given. But it empowers you to follow your own custom. It means it is giving you the chance, like marriages. We have a different set of marriage rules. Article 44 of the Constitution talks about what? Uniform Civil Code. Yes or no? Do we have an uniform criminal code? Yes. So there is only one criminal code. If anyone do any criminal inactivity, they will be punished through that code. But we have a different civil code. Means we have a different customs to be ruled for every communities. Tribals have their certain different communities rule. They have been allowed to follow their customary practice. Yes or no? Hinduism has a different set of marriages, rules. Islam has a different set of marriages rule. Divorce rule, inheritance rule. Christian has a different set of rules to get married. If there would be a single or unified code, it means all the marriages of every or irrespective of the community has to be done in the similar manner through the registrations in the court. Are you getting my point? It means we are running through the customary law also. That power has been given through the constitutions. We can say that. But the constitution does not mention about the customary, or they cover the customary laws. They allow you to follow like 29, 30, 25, 26, 27, 28, which allows you to follow your own customs, traditions, values. Yes or no? Yes or no? Any question? Statutory, the law made by the parliament or the law made by the state legislature, like Motor Vehicle Act. You ride a motorbike or drive a car on the road through the rules and regulations. That comes from where? Does Constitution talks about it? No. The rule is given by the statutory, means the law made by the legislature. NGT. What is NGT? National Green Tribunal. Protection of environment. Yes or no? We have a protection of environment law. Yes or no? That law made by the parliament. Statutory law. Are you getting my point? ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, a statutory body to protect the environment, to protect the monuments. Are you getting my point? Right? So these are the statutory. Any doubt? Chaliye, we'll see the next then. So we are seeing written and unwritten constitutions. Now we'll see the advantages and disadvantages of the both. What are the merits of the written constitutions? What are the demerits of the constitutions? Written constitutions, right? So merits of written, sorry. So what are the advantages of having a, एक minute. Now it's visible, na? Yes. Now what are the merits? Merits meant advantages. What are the advantages of having a written constitutions? It can be easily consulted whenever there is a confusion, whenever there is a doubt, dispute related to any provisions, any rules, any regulations. So what we can do? We can just refer to the constitutions. Like suppose you have a book where you have read it, but you are making some confusion. You have having some doubt about the concept. So you refer to that book where you can find a material. So easily consulted. It's a merit of the written constitutions. But do we have a advantages of easily consult to those where it is not been written or it not been properly codified? No. You cannot refer to that. Are you getting my point? If you have roughly written something, you cannot refer to the letter in the case of disputes or doubts. Yes or no? Right? So the first is it can be easily consulted. Second, it is usually rigid. Rigid means, what is rigid? It's hard to amend. It is not absolute. It means rigid are those which are hard to change, not easily amended. So the written constitutions are rigid, means they are subject to change, but they are not easily changeable or they are not easily made. Why? Because there is a codifications always be written. So in the written constitutions, we have to follow the proper procedure to make changes into the constitutions, amending the constitutions. Yes or no? Are you getting my point? Right? Like Article 368 talks about amending power of the constitutions. How a constitutions can be amended by the parliament. What the procedure they have to follow while amending the constitutions. And this is only possible when you have an written or codified constitutions. Next, easy to understand the content of the constitutions. So whenever in case of any confusion, easily interfered or interpreted by the constitution, by the authority, easily understood the language. So this is a merit. It avoids dictatorship by rulers. How it avoids dictatorship? What is dictatorship? Sorry. Yes, it power vested in a single person. Like I told you in the last class, concept of separation of power. In the separation of power, as I let you know, that the power is not concentrated at one place, at one hand. Rather, it is been equally separated, given to all the participant into the government. So when there is a codified, when there is a proper written constitutions, the power will be subsequently in the same manner, it will be separated. So it will avoid the dictatorship. It reduces classes of functions of arms of the government. Why? Because all the arms of the government, legislature, executive and judiciaries, they have a proper defined functions mentioned in the constitutions. So if they have a proper defined functions mentioned in the constitutions, so there is a light chances of getting any kind of disputes among them. Because the constitutions are, what they do? They chart out the limitations that you can do only this, you can do only this, you can do only this. So in the case when you have a clear instructions of what to do and what not to do, so there is a less chances of being clash between the different organs of the government. Yes or no? Am I clear? Any question? Okay. So now if you see the demerits, so what is its merit is become its demerit. So is it rigid? So it is rigid to change, so it become its merit and demerit also. When it is required an emergency and urgent law making process, but it requires a lengthy process to make changes, so that becomes a barrier in the progress. So at one hand, which is beneficial is also become its demerit. So the first is clear? Difficult to amend, make changes. So whenever there is an urgent requirement of changes, you cannot do that, because that requires an proper procedure. To follow a proper procedure, then only the matter can be amended. Yes or no? So it becomes demerit. It lacks flexibility related to the amendments. It lacks flexibility. What is flexibility means? Easily molded. This is flexible. It can be easily changes, but this is not flexible. Right? So constitution lacks flexibility. It means you cannot change easily. It requires a huge procedure, lengthy procedure to be followed. Okay? It may encourage frequent litigations. How? What is litigation? Litigation, do you understand the term litigation means? No? So it wants to say that whenever everything is coded, everything is written, so whenever you make a law, so that law can be challenged in a court. So always all the law will be challenged in a court. Litigation means challenging in the or making appeal to the court. So provisions of the constitutions, whatever the changes were done by the government, the another persons or the oppositions will challenge into the court. So due to this, what will happen? It will delay the implementation of the law till the court calls it as constitutional or unconstitutional. It cannot be implemented because that was subject to the now judicial interpretations. Yes or no? Are you getting my point? So it was leads to the frequent litigations, means always ready to challenge in a court. Okay? Next. And because of this, there will be a delay in the government activities. How? The government made law, but it cannot implement. Why? because the law was made by the government in the court. Now, till the court gives green signal, it cannot implement. So there is a delay in the governance, delay in the activities. So these are the demerits of the written constitution. So whenever you need to write a critical evaluations of written constitutions, there you need to write down the demerits and merits of the constitutions, written constitutions. Am I clear? Any doubt? Let's see the merits of unwritten constitutions. So the demerits of written constitutions become an merits of unwritten constitutions. Demerits of written constitutions become an merits of unwritten constitutions. How? It is flexible. So whenever you want, you can change. It did not delay the government activities because it is run on the customs traditions. So whatever, there is no need to challenge, so it can be changed and it can be implemented directly because there is no codifications required. So unwritten constitution does not give rise to much litigations. You cannot challenge anything in the court because there is not written. So what ground or can you challenge? So court has also limited power because it does not define its power. So it has a limited its power with respect to the laws and regulations. So as I said, how you can link, so the demerit of the written becomes a merit of the unwritten constitutions. This is how you can understand through the logic. Yes or no? Right? Next, it is flexible and easy to amend. The lack of flexibility we can see in the written constitutions. It is rigid, so it cannot be changed. But unwritten constitution is not codified, nothing is written, so it means you can do anything whatever you want. Yes or no? Clear? Next, easy and quick decision making in the time of urgency. If there is no rigidity, there is no process required to be followed, lengthy process. During the time of urgency, you can take any decisions. This is the merit. Yes? Unwritten constitution grows with the people. How? How the unwritten constitution grows with people? How? Society changed, the unwritten constitutions governed through societal norms, governed through customs, traditions. So as the norms, custom, tradition change, the constitutions also change without making any changes into the constitutions. Whereas the written constitutions also grows with people, but that requires making changes into the constitutions, making amendments into the constitutions. Yes or no? Through the government. But in the unwritten constitutions, it automatically change with the changing times. Traditions change, so constitution change. Custom change, so constitution change. Yes or no? Am I clear? Any doubt? Any question? Clear? So this is merits. Now if you see the demerits, so again, so demerits, it is usually unclear and uncertain. Why? Nothing is written, so nothing is clear, nothing is certain. So there always be a confusion. It always give everyone every power to do anything because it's not written. So you can do according to your wish, according to your interpretations. I can do according to my interpretations. She can do according to her interpretations. She can do according to her interpretations. He can do according to his interpretations. It means everyone is doing differently because it is not clearly mentioned in the constitutions, clearly codified in the constitutions. Yes or no? Sorry? Unwritten, yes.
So when the person is elected in the state, and can he run in the state however he thinks?
Yes. Whatever the traditions through which they have been governing, they can do. It says that we have a democracy. right? A representative democracy. This is only written. It means you cannot change that matter. You cannot make it to the dictatorship or anything. So representative democracy should be there, but their function is not codified. So how they are functioning, it is up to them. So it can be changed by the through government to government also. Yes or no? Is it clear? Any doubt? Next, difficult to ascertain the unconstitutionality of an act. So it is difficult to consider whether the act of a legislature or act of an executive is according to law or not according to law. You are not in a position to judge that. Why? Because that is not codified. That is not written. So you are not in a position to understand that law is made is legal or illegal, fair or unfair. Why? Because that has not been codified. So there is no reference to be made, no document is to be referred to judge whether it is legal or illegal. Clear? Not suitable for a federal system of government. So unwritten constitution is not for the federal system, it is for the unitary. Why? Because in the federal, the stakeholders, the participant, the role of the participant has to be defined clearly. It cannot be set or it cannot be kept in the mercy of the another one. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Federal means where all the stakeholders, all the participants were equally important to everyone, and they have been given freedom to do what they want. So that freedom has to be given through written in the codifications. Limit, like 7th schedule, it limiting the power of parliament and the state legislature. Yes or no? Suppose we do not have such provisions in the constitutions. 7th schedule is not there. It means there is no division of power. So can we say we have a proper federal system? No. Parliament any time may interfere in the sphere of the state legislature. They can restrict the state legislature making any laws on any matter, hampering the rights of the state participant or the stakeholder in the union. Yes or no? Are you getting my point? So it is necessary to have a federal structure. So provisions or the, you can say, features of the federal system is an written constitutions. So a constitutions, a country which is following an unwritten constitutions, so they do not have an federal systems. Like UK do not have an federal system. They are following an unitary form of government where the power is concentrated at one place. Am I clear? Yes or no? Clear? So these are the written and unwritten constitutions, its merits and demerits. Now we'll see the constitutionalism. This has also been asked in the mains and also in the prelims. What is constitutionalism? Yes, बताइए. What do you understand by the term constitutionalism? संविधानवाद. It's Hindi. What is constitutionalism? Written, वहाँ लिखा है. I know you can read out, but what do you understand by that? कुछ भी होगा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के बेस पर ही होगा. Tell me. Constitutionalism means what? The basic feature or essential feature of the constitutionalism is the power of the government is limited. A limited government. What does this mean? Limited government means what? Or limitation of the government means what? The government cannot exercise an absolute power, unrestricted power. It has to be within the vicinity of the constitution. So limited constitutionalism, the basic or the essential feature of the constitution is limited or limitation of the government, which means a government according to constitutions. That is also known as a constitutional government. Sorry?
Example.
India?
In example.
Example India? How? चलिए अब इसको समझते हैं. How? ये समझ में आ गया. Constitutionalism means limited government. Now suppose China is a democratic country. No. North Korea is a democratic country. No. USA is a democratic country. Yes. So do the China have a constitution? Yes. It means the highest law of the land, right? So do they have a limited power? The government has a limited power? No. The government in the dictatorship, the government in a autocracies, or government in a theocracy, where the rule by the king or queen in the name of God or in the name of religion, like Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Israel, not Israel, Syria, Palestine, Iraq, Iran, they are the theocratic in the name of God. A religious state are there. They are the religious state. So they have their constitutions, they have a law to the rule, but they are not limited by that government, limited by that constitutions. Now suppose, how we can understand to this is that, suppose that a constitution says that we have a democracy, a nation has a democracy, like Germany. When the Hitler came into the power, he came through the elections. But as he came to the power, he changed the constitution and made the country into the dictatorship. It means his power was not limited. He was not exercising an limited power. He has extended his power. He has an unauthorized power he exercised. Unbridled power. Yes or no? It means he changed. So when a constitutions or a constitutional mechanism or the government is changed and it works beyond the limitations, it does not follow the constitutionalism. So we can say the breeding ground for the constitutionalism is democracy. A suitable constitutionalism can only exist in a democracy. It cannot exist where the democracy is not prevail. So, a constitutionalism does not mean the country having a constitution. Are you getting my point? Like UK have a constitution? Yes or no? They have? So can we say they are the they have a limited government? No, because they are unwritten constitutions. So first of all, they have an unbridled power. They have an unlimited. They can running through the customs, so they can make changes anytime, anywhere. So constitutionalism does not only mean the country having a power. It means government according to the constitutions, or constitutional government, where the government is exercising its power but within the limitations, with a limited power. This is constitutionalism. India, America. So India does not go beyond the constitutions. It is within the constitutions. The government has a limited power. Like it cannot take away anyone's rights. They are the limitations. It cannot violate any of the provisions of the constitutions. If they do, Judiciary is there to make the constitutional supremacy. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Right? So it means they have a constitutionalism. So where a constitutionalism can grow? A place where having a democracy. In a dictatorship, in any other places where the democracy does not exist, the constitutionalism cannot grow. The constitutionalism does not mean a country having a constitution. Again, I am saying, it means a government according to constitutions. The constitution not according to government, but government according to constitutions, running according to the provisions of the constitutions. If it says you have a power only for 5 years or before, it cannot run beyond the power of 5 years. It cannot make provisions into the constitutions that now from now onwards I will be till I am alive, I will be the prime minister of country, which happens in China. So China has made what? That there is only one recognized political party, Communist Party of China. No other party can be recognized in China. It is a crime to form or join any political party. Now they have made changes. That Xi Jinping, till he will be a chief of the Communist Party of China, he will be the premier of the China. So no election now.
Election does take place, sir.
That at the party level, not at the national level. They choose election to the head of the party. There is a provisions in China how to become premier. The person who is at the level hierarchy in the party level, they will get a positions in the country. So the leader of the party will become a premier. Second topmost become the second leader in the country. And this has also been amended. Now it says that Xi Jinping will be there till he will be an chairman, will be a premier of the party. So till he resign, he will be a premier. So they are according to constitution. No, they are making changes. It means the constitution is at the mercy of the leaders, government, making changes into that. And it's so flexible, they make changes with the 1 or 2 persons. Yes or no? But a constitutionalism means where the government is in having exercising its power in a very limited manner. Now it is clear? Yes or no? Right? Now if you see the elements of the constitutionalism, sorry? हाँ बताइए. हाँ written. So elements. नहीं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऐसा नहीं विदाउट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन यू कैन नॉट हैव ए कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म बट ओनली हैविंग कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज नॉट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म a constitutionalism can only breed or can only grow or can only exist when there is a democracy. Democracy means where the people is been chosen along with the constitutions. बताइए.
नहीं मैं यही बताना चाहता था कि जब जीएसटी का आने से पहले वहाँ पर चल रहा था डेमोक्रेसी.
नहीं डेमोक्रेसी अभी डेमोक्रेसी इज नॉट फॉर द कंट्री. वहाँ पे प्रीमियम के इलेक्शंस नहीं होते. वहाँ पर ये सॉरी पार्टी का इलेक्शन होता है. पार्टी चीफ ही प्रीमियम बनेगा. तो फिर पार्टी के लिए हो रहा है ना, कंट्री के लिए नहीं हो रहा है ना.
मेरा सवाल ये था कि मतलब सिर्फ डेमोक्रेसी और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रहेगा तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन
यस एकदम
ऐसे होगा तो रशिया में कैसे.
तो फिर वहाँ डिक्टेटरशिप है क्योंकि वहाँ पर डेमोक्रेसी हटा दिया गया, पावर ज़्यादा चले गया. लिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट का आपको हमेशा ध्यान में रखना है. गवर्नमेंट जब तक लिमिटेड है, जब तक वो अपने एक्सरसाइज पावर को कॉन्स्टिट्यूशंस के अकॉर्डिंग फंक्शंस कर रही है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म है. ये क्रॉस कर गई, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म नहीं है. आर गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? तो कंफ्यूजन आप ये समझे कि रसिया, अफ्रीका में बहुत ऐसे नेशन है जहां पर डेमोक्रेसी है या फिर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, बट वहां पर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म क्यों नहीं है? व्हाई? बिकॉज दे आर नॉट फंक्शनिंग अकॉर्डिंग टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशंस. दे आर नॉट रेस्ट्रिक्टिंग देयर पावर. Constitutionalism is basically means that you have to functions according to the provisions of constitutions. जो power है उतना ही काम करना है. If you are acting beyond that power, or you are bending that power, it means now there is no constitutionalism. So इसलिए मैंने कहा it is important to have a limited government or limitations on the government.
इंडिया के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से वो आर्टिकल 68 को यूज करके
डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर है बीच में.
और जो इमरजेंसी के समय मतलब पॉलिटिकल एलिगेशन लगे हुए थे,
मतलब जैसे पॉलिटिकल एलिगेशंस किस पे?
जैसे वो इमरजेंसी लाए
कौन? 1975. ओके ठीक.
वो अभी भी मतलब प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट को कभी-कभी एलिगेशन लगता है.
एलिगेशन इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग ना. एलिगेशन तो लगता रहेगा, बट कैन दैट इमरजेंसी जो आया 1975 में is beyond the power of constitutions? No, constitution has allowed कि you can make constitutions, but 44th में उसको changes कर दिया गया. एक टर्म है इंटरनल डिस्टर्बेंस को हटाकर आर्म्ड रिबेलियन कर दिया गया. सो अब कोई भी इंटरनल डिस्टर्बेंस पे इमरजेंसी नहीं ला सकता जब तक आर्म्ड रिबेलियन नहीं हो. और भी चेंजेस किए गए 352 में. रिटन में देना होगा कैबिनेट को, काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स को नहीं, कैबिनेट को. प्राइम मिनिस्टर हेड करेगा कैबिनेट और रिटन में प्राइम प्रेसिडेंट को देगा कि अब इमरजेंसी लगाइए, दिस इज द ग्राउंड. देन ओनली द नेशनल इमरजेंसी कैन बी इम्पोज्ड. दिस वाज नॉट द प्रोविजन इन 75. दैट वाज नॉट अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल और बियॉन्ड. दे आर एक्टिंग अकॉर्डिंग टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशंस. Many a times they have tried to do that, but we have a judicial review. Independence of judiciary. Independence of judiciary. This is the feature. This question has also been asked in examinations. Essential feature of constitutionalism. Now, what is essential? What is essential? That without which it is not possible to live. So that is essential. Yes or no? जब कोरोना के टाइम में लॉकडाउन लगी थी तो सभी शॉप बंद थे, एसेंशियल सप्लाईज चालू था. यस और नो? तो एसेंशियल्स मीन्स फूड, दूध, वेजिटेबल और मेडिसिन. पिज्जा, बर्गर, चॉकलेट नहीं, बिकॉज दे आर नॉट देन एसेंशियल. दिस इज एन एग्जाम्पल टू अंडरस्टैंड एसेंशियल. So when the question asks about what is an essential feature, it means without which it is not feasible. So independence of judiciary. Why? Because judiciary, through nature of independence, it will ensure the supremacy of the constitutions, that the government should with functions within the vicinity of the constitutions. It will put restrictions on the functions of government. अब इंडिपेंडेंट जुडिशरी है ही नहीं, डिपेंडेंट जुडिशरी है, तो बायस्ड होगी. फिर बायस्ड होगी ना. जो उसको पैसे दे रहा है उसी के लिए वो क्या करेगी? फैसला सुनाएगी. जो उसको अपॉइंटमेंट करा उसी के लिए काम करेगी. डिपेंडेंट मीन्स दिस, डिपेंड ऑन द एनीवन, डिपेंडिंग ऑन एनीवन. आर गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? यस और नो? So now we'll see the elements of the constitutionalism. So government according to constitutions means a constitutional government. The government has to be functions, limitations. They can only perform those functions which has been given in the constitutions. A separation of power. All the organs of the government has been, the power should not be concentrated at one place. Sovereignty of the people and democratic government. Sovereignty of the people means the power is really vested in the people, and both has to be there. If it is democratic but not sovereign, then also the constitutionalism cannot exist. Sovereignty of people, where the real power holder is a people. They have the power to make changes. Russia, China, though they have a, you can call they have a democracy, okay, but they have a constitution, but the real power vests in the people, no. So constitutionalism is not there. Constitutional review, that is judicial review, given power to the judiciary for reviewing the action of the executive, reviewing the action of legislature, and calling the action of legislative or executive as an unconstitutional if it is violating the provisions of the constitutions. Yes or no? It ensuring the supremacy of the constitutions. Independent judiciary, it is essential feature. If a judiciary is independent, then only it can review the constitutionalism, or then it can only review the having a judicial review, and properly it can review unbiased. If it is dependent, it can review, still review and give a biased judgment. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Limited government, subject to Bill of Individual Rights. The government power is limited with respect to the fundamental rights. It does not has an unlimited power like Britain, where it can snatch anyone's rights, and the person is not free to move to the judiciary, and the judiciary there is not to check the action of legislature. So it has to be limitations on the government which subject to Bill of Rights. That is fundamental right. Clear? Controlling of police, the police should be having in the control, that should not be given supreme power. Civilian control of military. Do we have a control over military over civilian, or it's an authoritative control? Who is a commander in chief of military? President. And who is president? Elected. Head of the state is an elected. It means we have an civilian control of a military. It means that the military by their own, they cannot coup, they cannot make any war or something. That has to be done only on the advice or by the president, who is an elected member, or it's an elected office. Is it clear? This is constitutionalism. Any doubt? Any question? ठीक है जी, बोलिए. हाँ हाँ, आप क्वेश्चन पूछिए तो.
जो जजेस लोग जब रिटायर्ड होके जाते हैं,
हाँ,
वो लोग मतलब राज्य सेवा में हो जाते हैं, तो
घुस नहीं जाते, दे कैन बी अपॉइंटेड. तो दिस इज सी इंडिपेंडेंट जुडिशरी. इट शुड नॉट बी लाइक कि आप किसी को रेस्ट्रिक्ट कर दो जीने खाने से. इंडिपेंडेंट जुडिशरी की देयर इज अ रेस्ट्रिक्शन ऑन प्राइवेट प्रैक्टिसिंग. ठीक है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजेस कैन नॉट प्रैक्टिस इन territory of India. In any court they cannot practice. It does not mean they cannot hold any office after the retirement, like NHRC का लोकपाल का चेयरमैन हो सकते हैं, NHRC का हो सकता है, राज्यसभा का मेंबर हो सकते हैं, इलेक्शन लड़कर रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हो सकते हैं. They can be that. बिल्कुल. They are only restricted from holding the practicing, private practicing. Supreme Court judge. High Court judge cannot practice only in that court where he has been a judge. So it means he can practice in Supreme Court and he can practice in other High Court. जहाँ पर वो जज नहीं है, उन हाई कोर्ट में प्रैक्टिस कर सकता है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कर सकता है. That is only why that he cannot do or make any favorable judgment कि कल मुझे यहीं आना है काम करने, तो इनके बना कर रखो इनके साथ. That he cannot do. This is done. अब आप किसी को जज रोक नहीं सकते ना कमाने खाने से. You can do anything, whatever you want, but you cannot do this job. This is ensuring natural justice भी तो है ना कुछ. Yes or no? Any other question? Next is constitutional morality. What is constitutional morality? What is morality? अब बताइए. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल छोड़ देते हैं, पहले बात करते हैं मोरालिटी पे. व्हाट इज मोरालिटी? कंसेंस, कंसाइंस. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय दैट? व्हाट इज मोरल? So right and wrong is a moral. Ethics. अब आप लोग synonyms बता रहे हैं मुझे. So you are saying that having an conscience of conscious of true and false, having right and wrong. What you are saying, this is you are saying, na? So what can be an good for one can be bad for another? Yes or no? What is bad for one can be good for another? Yes or no? So what is morality? What is something? हाँ बोलिए बोलिए, which is something?
Universally accepted.
Morality is universally accepted. Example? Telling lie is an universally accepted or not? Telling, अच्छा छोड़िए, किसी को मारना जान से गलत है या नहीं? यूनिवर्सली एक्सेप्टेड. तो बॉर्डर पे किसी को नहीं मारनी चाहिए. बट यू सेड ना यूनिवर्सली एक्सेप्टेड, तो मतलब वहां नो नॉट पर्सनली, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द पर्सनली. तो कोर्ट किसी को कैपिटल पनिशमेंट नहीं दे सकती, वो तो मुझे पता है देती है, लेकिन आप कह रहे हैं ना थिंग विच इज यूनिवर्सली एक्सेप्टेड. ये तो ऐसा है जो आप लोग डेली बात करते हो मोरालिटी पे, वैसे मैं पूछ रहा हूँ व्हाट इज मोरल, व्हाट इज मोरालिटी. हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे, पहले ये तो देखें व्हाट इज मोरालिटी. रिलीजियसली, लाइक एग्जाम्पल, ईटिंग नॉन वेज इज एट वन रिलीजन इज रॉन्ग, तो रॉन्ग फॉर एवरी रिलीजन. See, you are giving a good example, you are giving a right example, but you need to understand. So morality means social values. अगर हम सिर्फ moral की बात करें ना, अगर हम सिर्फ I am not talking about the constitutional moralities and everything. What I am talking is about morality, moral, that is social values. That depends, again, that is going to differ from society to society. Every society has their own values. So morality means adhering to the social values is a morality. आप जिस सोसाइटी में रह रहे हो, आप जिस कम्युनिटी में रह रहे हो, आपकी जो कम्युनिटी है, रिलीजियस कम्युनिटी हो सकती है, राइट, सेक्टोरल कम्युनिटीज हो सकती है, ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज हो सकती है. देयर कैन बी अ डिफरेंस. वी हैव अ डाइवर्सिटी इन टर्म्स ऑफ एवरीथिंग. यस और नो? So to which society or to which community you are living, there has a certain rules and regulations, values. Rules regulations जिसको बोलते हैं ना, values को. You cannot do this, you cannot do that, you can do this, you can do that. Yes or no? And adhering to that values is a morality, or adhering to that rules regulations of that society, of that communities. आपके घर में भी when you living at your home, वहां भी कुछ rules and regulations हैं, है ना? बाहर से आओ तो चप्पल बाहर निकाल दो, पैर धुल करके चलो, take bath and everything. Means every house they're having an different cultures, values, and if you are adhering to that, it means you are adhering to the morality. So this is an morality. Adhering to the social norms, community norms, or the principles of the community where you have been living, in which you have been living, is a morality. Yes or no? Yes or no? Any doubt? So morality is clear. Now when we are coming to the constitutional morality, so constitutional morality is adhering to the principles and provisions of the constitutions is constitutional morality. Yes. So Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar said once that this is not something which can be, it's a natural, it is not a natural sentiment. It cannot comes by own. It is something which we need to get developed through practices. So constitutional morality is something which to which we are being adhered to the principles of the constitutions, like we are adhered to the principles of equality, we are adhered to the principle of justice. These are the principles of morality. Constitutions, you cannot practice untouchability. It is encouraging inequality in the society, so you cannot practice untouchability. So practicing untouchability means you have been doing unethical things according to constitutions. It may be good for your society, or it may be a good where you, or it isn't allowed to your community, but according to constitutions it is not allowed. Are you getting my point? Right? Sabrimala case. What is Sabrimala case? Entry of a woman into the temple. Though according to society it is good, it is not allowed that women should enter into the temple, but according to constitution it is a violation of equality. Yes or no? Triple talaq, burqa system, though society accept or it is prevail in the one society, but according to constitution it is a violation of equality. So on that basis the judiciary has given a right to the women also to call for the enter into the temple, call for the divorce, or to not wear a burqa. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Yes, sati system, though it is an accepted norms in the society, but it is not. It is a cruelty according to the constitutions, violation of right to life. So it is not constitutional morality. Now do you understand constitutional morality? Yes or no? Right? Like this LGBTQ. What is LGBTQ? What the judiciary says? Though society, now what the in this judgment it has said, it says that though the society has a different norms with related to the expression of same sex, but according to constitutions both have the, or the third gender have a right of equality. So on that basis of, so always the constitutional morality will prevail over the social morality. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Right? खाप पंचायत का नाम सुना आपने? What is खाप पंचायत? How many of you have heard about the खाप पंचायत? दो तीन. What is खाप पंचायत? And what they do? एक टर्म है, सॉरी, एक टर्म है which this खाप पंचायत the members were usually often practice is honor killing. नाम सुना आपने? honor killing. And what is it related to? Honor killing is related to no chorus. Individual, जी. सिर्फ इंटरकास्ट, इट इज नॉट रिलेटेड ओनली टू द इंटरकास्ट. ऑनर किलिंग मीन्स किलिंग इन द नेम ऑफ ऑनर, दैट इट, ये हमारे खानदान के विरुद्ध है और सोसाइटी, दिस काइंड ऑफ, दैट इज नॉट अलाउड. दैट वो सोसाइटी में नॉर्म्स हो सकता है कि वी हैव टू run according, as we know that we are been governed through our customary law also. Initially I told you that we are been allowed to run through our customary law also, but it does not mean that we are not been allowed to adhere to the constitutional provisions. Only those customary laws which is in accordance with the principles of constitutions can only be practiced. Am I clear? Any doubt? Any question? So this is constitutional morality. Take. Now let's see the significance of the constitutional morality. Now what happens? So significance of constitutional moralities. So it safeguard and uphold the enforcement of rule of law in the country. What is rule of law? Rule of law means what? जी?
Anything has to be administered.
Rule of law means सिर्फ और सिर्फ law की ही चलेगी. No one is above the law. Only everything will be governed through law. So the law, and what is our law? Constitutions. Highest law is our constitution. So whatever provisions or whatever the you can say how we will function, that is to be through the law. So constitutional morality, what it will be done? It will safeguard the rule of law and uphold the rule of law. It means it will try to always win to the rule of law. Are you getting my point? So if society is doing anything in the name of honor killing or in the name of religion, whether it has been triple talaq or anything, the constitution will come into the place and it will safeguard the provisions of constitution that every women and men are equal. So right to equality should be prevail. Article 14, yes or no? It cannot discriminate on the basis of the gender. So the rule of law has been upheld. Clear? Any doubt? Next, promoting and reinforcing the democratic ideals of the nations. So democratic ideals means, now we have understood in the last class what the democratic ideals means, where peoples are involved in the formations of law. So if the rule of law will prevail, so everyone will believe in the law. So this is a law what we have made for us. So we will rule according to that law. Yes or no? So it reinforcing the democratic values. Okay? Then bringing about a positive transformations in the perceptions of public morality. So through this also we can bring a positive changes into the public morality, into the social morality, which is again has to be subsides by the constitutional morality. Nahin? How? Any example? Or how you can say that the public morality has been transformed into the perceptions of public morality? How we are changing the perception of public morality? By letting everyone to rule according to rule of law. It is irrespective of your sex, irrespective of your caste, irrespective of your religion, irrespective of your color, you are been free to do anything. So untouchability is one of the practice in the society, but the constitution says you cannot practice untouchability on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or on the basis of color also. So it means it is changing the perceptions of an public morality into the transforming into positive, that now the peoples will believe in the constitutional moralities, right? Promoting diversity. How it is promoting diversity? If it is ensuring that everyone, irrespective of their religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, everyone is welcome. The constitution will give everyone the freedom of religion. Constitution is giving everyone the freedom to express, freedom to speak. Equal opportunities provided to everyone. It does not discriminating on the basis of their color, on the basis of their sex, basis of their residence or place of birth. It means it is promoting diversity. It is helping Article 29-30, saying that if you are being minorities in the terms of linguistic or religious, you establish your own educations, you can secure your own script, culture. Irrespective of your religion or race, you are been free to practice any kind of religion. So diversity has been encouraged, right? Yes or no? We have 6 races living in India. Aryans, Dravidians, Mongolite, Negorite, Western Periferous, Australite. So we have a different races. We have a diversifying, and every diverse race is been encouraged to preserve their own culture, to follow their own religion. Yes or no? Right? Helping making the society more inclusive, then similar to basic structure. So this is constitutional morality, is similar to that of an basic structure, and this constitutional morality and doctrine of basic structure is acting a kind of limitations on the government also, that they cannot discriminate on anyone. The government has to adhere to the constitutional principles: equality, sovereignty, liberty, justice, fraternity. These are the objectives of the constitution, yes or no? So the government, so this doctrine plus constitutional morality both are somehow acting as a barrier to the government. They're restricting the power of the government. It again, we can say through the constitutional morality that Indian government is having a limited access to the power. Constitutionalism has been followed. Yes or no? Am I clear? Okay? Then moving towards achieving constitutionalism. Power of the government is limited, prevailing the provisions of the constitutions. Government according to constitutions. It means we are moving towards the constitutionalism. Clear? Now if you see the elements of the constitutional moralities, basic elements or the provisions on what the constitutional morality is based. So it is based on preamble. So preamble having a justice, equality, liberty, fraternity, sovereignty, secular, socialist, democratic, and republic. So these are the parts of the preamble. So morality, so always we are adhering to those principles are given under the preamble. This is morality. Right to equality, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, abolition of title, abolition of untouchability, equality in terms of public offices, equality in terms of government schemes, programs, schools, and equal before law and equal protection of law. Everyone is equal in front of law. You cannot make laws distinguishing between the two individuals on the basis of class, on the basis of education, on the basis of financial status, on the basis of religion, on the basis of sex. You cannot discriminate among the people. So this is an element. It means adhering to the right to equality, adhering to the principles of preambles, adhering to the principles of unity and integrity of the nations, fraternity, ensuring the dignity of an individual. So every individual has its dignity. No one can disrespect individuals. Social justice, again a part of the justice. Social, economic, and political. Social justice, where everyone socially should be accepted. You cannot like untouchability should not be prevailed. Yes or no? Clear? Individual liberty, everyone is free to exercise its freedom. Individual freedom of expressions and rule of laws. So these are the elements of constitutional moralities. It means it has to adhere to that. Clear? Any doubt? Now if you see the criticisms of this constitutional moralities, is there any criticisms? Yes. The first, lack of literature, right? Lack of literature means the term constitutional morality is not mentioned in the constitutions. neither it is defined in the constitutions, right? But this term morality has been mentioned few places. जो term morality है ना, morality has been mentioned in few places. जैसे first article 25 and 26 says that the freedom of religion can only be restricted on the basis of public order, morality and health. एक टर्म morality वहां मिलता है हमें. एक मिलता है आर्टिकल 19 में, freedom of speech and expressions can be restricted on the basis of morality. Freedom of movement can be restricted on the basis of other than the restrictions is morality. So the term morality, constitutional morality जो term as a whole, constitutional morality आपको constitutions में कहीं भी देखने को नहीं मिलेगा. It has not been mentioned, not been defined. But the term morality is only mentioned. It is not defined. कि morality होता क्या है. That definition is not given. But you can find mentions in few places. Example में 25, 26, Article 19, where you can see the term morality has been mentioned. So this becomes an demerits or criticisms. We do not have a lack of literature. Means there is, you cannot find any literature or you cannot find any definitions. You cannot find mentions of this. So there is lack of literature. Lack of literature, it means there is a confusion. Lack of literature means everyone is now free to interpret their own ideas into the morality. This is we have seen unwritten constitutions का demerit क्या था कि litigations नहीं है, it will be free to everyone, it will be according to the every person. So similarly there is no literature available, there is no definitions available, there is no mentions or what do you mean by the morality. It means it leads to the various interpretations according to the people. It varies from thought to thought, persons to persons. So this is one of the criticisms. Are you getting my point? Encourage judicial supremacy and activism by the court. Now it totally depends upon the judiciary how it can interpret the morality, constitutional morality. So everything has to be litigated in the name of morality. चलो लेकर कोर्ट चलो ये morality है या नहीं. So involvement of court is increased in the terms of morality. Everything will be challenged, every actions will be challenged. Excuse me, right? So it will hinder the natural development, growth. How? Everything will be challenged, everything will be under the lens, under the scrutiny. So implementations will delay. If there will be delayed in implementation, so there will be natural development will also be delayed. Are you getting my point? Next, it creates distrust among the public morality. Now how it creates distrust among the public morality? Because the constitutional morality prevails over the social morality. So people thinks this is our traditions, this is our culture, how you can do that? Yes or no? Believing in our own culture, believing in our own traditions, and judiciary prevail over the constitutional morality. So this is bringing interest. Are you getting my point? Acts as a counterpoise to public morality. Right? Counterpoise means it is against or it is opposite to public morality. Many examples we have seen how the prevalence of social norms is different. Constitutional norms is different. So constitutional norm has to be prevailed over the social norms. So it thinks as a constitutional morality acts as an opposite, or you can say that it acts as an against the public morality in hostility by the public. Yes or no? So these are the weaknesses. Now what we can do to remove? Awareness, create awareness. So measures. So what measures can be taken to implement the constitutional moralities? First, it is to be complemented and supplemented by judicial values. So Thus constitutional morality should not be imposed by the judiciary, rather it should be imposed by within, from the society, from the people. So people should be made aware about the constitutions, aware about the rights and wrongs between the social and constitutional values. The constitutional values should not be imposed on the social values, but it should be run according parallel, right? So there should be a standard yardstick has to be evolved, a measurement, a standard has to be there, according to which this constitutional moralities can be done. Need a balanced approach in applications. You cannot all together you can reject the social values. There should be a balanced approach, and this balanced approach will help the people to build their trust into the constitution. Then only you can function according to constitutions. Yes or no? If the people do not have a value, if the people do not have a trust in the system, in the constitutions, you cannot impose them, or it cannot be live for the longer period. So what is the best way? To infuse the confidence in the people through making balance between the social and constitutional norms, encouraging them, making them awareness about the what is wrong, what is right, the values. These are the measures what you can do to encourage the constitutional moralities. Yes or no? Okay? So this is constitutional moralities. Any doubt? जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म का मतलब हो गया, जैसे देखिए जुडिशियल रिव्यू एक पावर है, जुडिशियल रिव्यू एक पावर है. क्या होता है जुडिशियल रिव्यू? सो इट गिव पावर द so judicial review is a power of a judiciary to review the legislature or executive actions. This is judicial review. ये जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म में कब हो जाएगा? जब जुडिशरी हर एक्ट को, एवरी एक्ट ऑफ लेजिस्लेचर और एग्जीक्यूटिव को इट स्टार्ट रिव्यूइंग. सो दिस इज एक्टिविज्म. कि जुडिशरी ने अब एक्टिविज्म शुरू कर दी, आप क्या गलत, आप क्या सही, एवरी टाइम इट इज ट्राइंग टू इंटरफेयर इन दिस. Supremacy means judiciary has the upper hand. It has a supreme power. Like USA, it has a supremacy that it can make changes into the fundamental rights or the rights given to the people. Okay? Rule of law is an rule of law means that every society or the country will follow the law. There will be no rule other than the law. नहीं, ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ हम दोनों डिस्कस करेंगे. एनीथिंग एल्स? So this is rule of law. We have completed the rule of law. Rule of law means the law, only the law which can be prevailed. Next is state. क्या हो गया? नीड ब्रेक? चलिए, then only for the 15 minutes because we have started class late ना.